Mr. Divas, welcome back to another episode of the podcast and the first official live here on YouTube. So, hi everyone. Hi everyone who is watching. I am so excited to be doing these. These will be in addition to the regular episode. So, we'll have weekly lives 7 p.m. Next week is not going to be on Thursday. It's going to be on either Wednesday or Friday. I'll give you some more updates about that towards the end of the episode. The boys from the virtual reality podcast on with Page Six, they invited me to go to their show here in New York, so I'll be going to that on Thursday. So next week should be on Friday. Let's go into Friday. Friday at 7 o'clock, we'll be here again chatting even more stuff because the Thursday shows will have aired and I will have been able to watch them. But expect on these just kind of like a grab bag of my thoughts on the week. Nothing with a guest, just me, Gavin. Maybe a guest pops in every once in a while, but I just want to kind of connect with the people that are listening and watching the podcast and the show. I am so excited to be in a new medium. So this is exciting. So today we're going to talk about a lot of different things. A lot of different things are happening in the culture. I do feel it is important that the first thing we touch on today is the sentencing of one Karen Huger. You know, it's tough when the mighty fall. I would say she fell about a year ago when she ran into that tree, but it's tough to see that this is where we've landed, dealing with her actually going to jail. So we have a boots on the ground from the uh, the courtroom. Friend of the pod, Taria Faison herself, was at the sentencing. Oh, hi, Dad. My dad's here in the chat. Hi, Dad. Yeah, if once again you can watch live and join me in the chat, and I'm happy to answer any questions that come up in the chat. I have my YouTube open as well, so I can see those comments there. So Dad says hi everyone. Back to Karen though. So yes, she was sentenced to 2 years in prison with one on. Wait, what is the terminology again? One year suspended. Now this is a new terminology that I would like to begin using in my daily life. In the words of Elle Woods, I use legal jargon in my daily life. 1 year suspended. So, like, I think we should just start saying, like, for instance, I am going to work out 7 days a week, 5 days suspended. So 2 days a week. I'm going to have, uh, let's see, I'm gonna have time off for 10 days, but 12, no, that doesn't work because suspended wouldn't work there. But you get what I'm saying. I just think it's time we kind of bring it into our life a little bit more. It's just something that's a little bit more colloquial to our diet, our verbiage, you know? Sorry, I'm opening a LaCroix. But I hope you're consuming whatever it is you're consuming tonight. But yes, suspended is going into my vocabulary whenever I just want to cut something short. Oh, you know what? I came up with a new one. I'm gonna come to the party for 3 hours, 2 hours suspended. So only be there for 1 hour. Math. But yeah, back to the serious things. 2 years, 1 year suspended, and one of the big reveals in the courtroom was that there was a fourth DUI. Four. Four? I mean, one is crazy. Four? How do you get four? Like, it's just, I mean, you get four by just driving, but I just, it's upsetting, really upsetting. I can't believe that she engaged in that type of behavior, and I hope that she learns her lesson in jail. It's terrible to say. Um, but yeah, not great for Miss Karen. Also, some other takes from the courtroom. Taria, go follow Taria on YouTube. She's popping off on YouTube these days. She's popping off on everything she's on because she's a star. But We Go podcast, WEIGO podcast on all of her socials. She also mentioned that she was wearing her 613 hair. I hate to laugh, but it's, we laugh so we don't cry? Question mark. I guess. Yeah. So the 613 was on, as we learned at the Potomac reunion. A 613. There are only some of the girls are a 613. Mia is not, but Karen is. I don't think I'm a 613. When I did do drag, for those that may not know what a 613 is, I'm sure my dad is in the chat saying, "What is a 613?" 613 is the shade of blonde that the wig is. It's like, 613 is the standard shade. If you in any wig, if you want, you're like, I want that wig, but I want it in a 613. That's what that color is. And RuPaul said on Drag Race this past week that there is a shade of blonde for everyone. I think I am more of a like red blonde. When I did drag in college, I always gravitated towards red hair. It was just like, it just kind of, like, I felt like it suited me. Like in my alter ego, I feel like I have red hair. Like I'm like a poison ivy type, sort of red, long, luscious locks. So if my blonde color, if I went blonde, would definitely be some sort of strawberry blonde. I don't know what code that is. A six, a 713. I don't know. But yeah, Karen. Also, Taria was, once again, was in the courtroom itself, and she literally saw Karen get taken away. She saw her in handcuffs get taken away. Can you believe that? It's honestly, the balls she has to just show up. I'm like, I don't even know that I would have the balls to just be there and like engage that way. Here's my thing. I like to stay arm's length from the world, from a lot of things. It's scary. Being in the courtroom would freak me out. I've never been in a courtroom before. Have y'all? That's such a silly question. Have y'all been in a courtroom before? I've never been in trouble. I did. Oh, maybe I won't reveal this on the podcast. Never mind. Moving on to our next topic. Um, Traitors. Let's talk Traitors a little bit. Love and light to the women of Potomac, though. And Karen, I hope you learn your lesson in jail. And speaking of Traitors, let's move on to Traitors. See what I did there. Traitors. Wow. So as we are live right now, um, there will be an episode airing in 2 hours from now. So, but if you're listening to this later or watching it later, I have not seen the most current episode, which I believe is the penultimate episode of the Traitors season 3. Now, let's talk a little bit about this last episode. So, this episode was the episode, spoiler alert, obviously, which, you know what? Speaking of spoilers with Traitors, I get so annoyed. Like, I don't watch live TV and I don't stream things right when they come out. Like if something's streaming at 9 p.m. like Traitors, I'm watching it the next day. I'm not. I don't stay up late to watch these things. Brian and I watch it together. Or like we're not gonna. No. Why on earth are y'all posting on social media spoilers like right after it happens? I think it's Bravo people that don't understand that, like, you can post a Bravo, like you can post how silly something was right after it happens with a housewife show. That's not really spoiling anything. Like, I don't mind if people post things and I haven't seen the episode yet. But like, I don't think Bravo viewers are used to watching like competition reality. You can't just like post a spoiler for the episode that everyone is like waiting to watch when they're ready. And I think there's a grace period. Like, I think wait at least like 48 hours before you. So before I saw this most recent episode, I knew that Carolyn got kicked out because I opened threads and someone posted, like, right after the episode aired, this like collage and said, "I will remember you," about Carolyn. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, at least put like a spoiler ahead notice or something. I don't know. That really bothered me. So don't spoil, but I am going to spoil here because it's been a week now. So this episode, we have Danielle and Carolyn. They cannot decide on what they want to do. They can either recruit or they can kill, right? So what I would have done personally, well, they were thinking about recruiting a girl or a woman, rather, excuse me. And that was going to be Brittany. That was who that Danielle wanted to recruit. Carolyn kept saying no. Now, Bob the drag queen was on live talking about this episode and brought up some good points in defense of Danielle. I am Team Carolyn in this, but he was saying that in the turret, when they would have these discussions about killing people, that Carolyn would just say no always. And it's like, well, what do you want to do? And she could never really come up with anything. And I think there's an aspect of the game that we don't see fully play out. And like we see her as a good traitor because no one could suss her out except Danielle, who just convinced everyone that she was a traitor, but Danielle herself was a traitor, right? Like we don't but she actually didn't play the game as a traitor that well, right? She didn't have ideas about who to kill. She was just good at not being caught, you know? Which I guess you could say is a good trader. It's just I think there's other aspects. Like Suri was the gold standard of traders. She was unbelievable. If you don't know Suri, she was from Survivor. I think she's been on 4 or 5 seasons of Survivor, never won. Um, but a legend of the game. She's just like almost too good to win. Um, and then went on to Traitors the first season where it was split between half regos, half celebrities. And she won as a traitor, which my understanding of traders lore is pretty hard to do. There's a season of Australian traders that I watched that a trader won, but getting to the end as a trader is tough. You have to be really slick about it. And she played a genius game with like who she didn't care about killing anyone. She was like, it's a game. Like she was just like, no, that person isn't helping my game anymore. They need to go. And then she was so kind to everyone in the house. Like, and could everyone thought she was the most faithful. So she played it geniusly. But Carolyn is only playing half of that, if you know what I mean. Like she's not really making bold moves in the turret, like Bob was pointing out. So I think that's where she's been going wrong. And so she kept saying no, and then Danielle was like, "Okay, well, this is crazy. We just need to kill someone then because you can't decide on someone to recruit." Because Danielle wants to recruit Brittany. Brittany is her bestie in the house. I understand why Carolyn would be like, "We can't recruit her." Who they should have recruited was Dylan. It's so clear to me. Dylan would crumble as a traitor. He could have easily been sussed out by becoming a traitor. And even if they didn't suss him out, he is a person who, if he won, you would want him as a winner. Like, I just kind of don't see why you wouldn't want to go to the end with Dylan or why you wouldn't want him to be a shield as a traitor. That's what I would do. But you know what? I'm not a celebrity and I won't be on Traitors. Yeah. So, so they kill Sam Ascari, I think is his last name. Brittany's ex, R.I.P. Sam. And we get this fantastic challenge where the traders had to pick, like, answer these questions, like, essentially superlatives, like, most likely to blank. And the traders picked the answers, and the faithfuls had to guess who they picked as, like, the most likely to lie, most likely to be the quietest. No one listens to them, things like that. And it plays out, and Carolyn kind of shows her hand a little bit that she picked some of the answers. So I think that was a big lead onto them sussing her out. And then at the round table, Danielle got some things moving behind the scenes, and she got enough people to vote Carolyn out. Now, let me say, I love Dolores, and I honestly love Tom Sandoval in this show. Don't take that soundbite anywhere. I love Tom Sandoval in the parameters of this show. The two of them have no fucking idea how to play a numbers game. Everyone else at the round table voted for either Danielle or Carolyn, and Tom and Dolores voted for each other. One vote. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, that's not going to do anything. One of if both of them had voted Carolyn, or honestly, Tom is so stubborn. If Tom just stuck with Dolores, if Dolores had just voted to get rid of Danielle, which she has been on Danielle's tail, then we would have been fine. And Danielle would have gone home and Carolyn could have maybe won the game. But instead, she voted for Tom Sandoval. I truly do not understand what that thought process is. It doesn't make any sense in my mind. But you know, I'm not there. I don't know what it's like, and I'm sure it's crazy when you're in it. We're getting a story told to us, like they're guiding us through a story. But being in it, it has to be utter chaos, and you have to have absolutely no clue who is who and like who you're watching, who's a traitor, who's a faithful, who's gonna die. I can't imagine being in there. So I do tip my hat to the traders. I am now wondering though who's going to win because I think Traitors is a great show. It's so entertaining, but it loses steam at the end with gameplay because kind of the best people for the most part don't go to the end. The people that go to the end are the people that don't know how to play the game, like Dolores and Tom, or the people that are too faithful, like Dylan, and then people like Ivor. He's still there. Ivor. Dude, like I have to remind myself every day. I'm like, who is that? That's Ivor. Like what? So yeah, he's still there in the mix. So like towards the end of the game, it's kind of like who's gonna be the winner of all this? I think if they don't suss out Danielle, I think she could do it. It doesn't sound like they're sussing her out, but I want Gabby to win. I worry that Danielle and Brittany will get into that turret and will be like, Gabby is the smartest left. We got to get rid of the smartest and keep the dummies around. But yeah, my vote is I want Gabby to win. I'm worried it's going to be a Danielle win. Um, and then one other thing. Okay, I saw this on Reddit. I'm not a Reddit user, but like I've started to just like look up some things on Reddit if I want the real answer on like drama between people, whatever happened to this cast, whatever happened to this person, blah blah blah. So Carolyn and her best friend from her season, Carson. Carson is this like late 20-year-old, like he was fresh out of grad school when he went on to Survivor, and his claim to fame on Survivor was that he had a 3D printer at home and he 3D printed all of the puzzles on like the last 3 seasons and would practice them every day. So when they came around in the challenges, he knew the puzzles like the back of his hand and he could just do them like in 2 seconds. And it was successful. He went, I believe he went all the way to the end. I don't know if he was in the final 4 or 3. I can't remember. I know he did not win, but him and Carolyn went very, very far and became very close. And him and Carolyn started a YouTube show. Hey, YouTube. A YouTube series where they recapped Survivor. And then when Carolyn went on Traitors, now they're recapping Traitors. Except the recap suddenly ended. And so, of course, my nosy ass is like, well, what's going on? I want to know. Like, I don't care about, I don't, I have a to do list in my home that I'm not getting done. But what I do have time for is finding out what happened between Carolyn and Carson. So, Carolyn unfollowed Carson. Apparently, their Patreon ended and Carolyn started her own Patreon. So, some drama went down. I don't know what it was. I want to know what it was. So if any of y'all know, please hit me up in the comment sections, DM me. I would love to hear your thoughts. Okay, well, let's move on to some other things. We also, if you have a question, I have a question box open on my Instagram at the Tom Hamlet. I also, you can put something in the comments and you can DM me, you can email me, and these questions will get answered here on the live. So we'll get to that at the end. So you still have some time to get some things in here today. Let's talk a little more Bravo adjacent things, and then I want to wrap up on White Lotus because White Lotus to me is Bravo. It is reality TV. It's essentially Housewives but scripted. So I kind of it all falls into the same thing for me. So Beverly Hills. I want to talk Beverly Hills a little bit. So I had to write a quote down from our dear friend of the pod, Noor, of The Reality Is. Please follow The Reality Is here on YouTube, on Instagram, and make sure you're listening to their show. Nora is fantastic at what she does. She said this about Beverly Hills. Sutton is unhinged. Dorit is phony. I love white on white crime. could not encapsulate my thoughts on the most current season of Beverly Hills More, white on white crime. It's what we're here for. And the two ladies going at it, here's the thing is like, I mean, Sutton's saying that, just bring up her pocketbook and how much money she has. Did I make that up? She said her pocketbook. Didn't she say her, oh no, her wallet. Her pocketbook would have been a better punchline, I think. I think it kind of pocketbook flows off the tongue a little bit better. It's funny, a funnier phrase than wallet, but she said that her pocketbook was bigger, and Dorit is telling her that she's like a cunt and mean and an alcoholic. And you know, I said last episode last week that I didn't think we should do the like drink shaming situation, but in the end, like these two ladies are so ridiculous because Dorit Sutton is richer and Sutton is drinking. So like all accusations are correct. Now, the one thing about Sutton's wealth, and I don't know how we feel about this in the year of our Lord 2025, do we care about how people acquired their wealth? I don't know the answer. Like, do you garner respect for acquiring your wealth by creating businesses, being an entrepreneur, creating some sort of form of cash flow? Or do we care if you acquired your wealth by getting an insane divorce settlement where you get, I believe she gets like $100,000 a month, something crazy of alimony. That's not child support. That is alimony. $100,000 a month. So my thought is like, you know what? I don't really care that you got that money that way. I'm sure you deserve something for being with that man, but let's not act like you slaved over every dollar to be here. Well, Dorit is fighting for her life against PK, who took away every dollar of hers because he's a scammer. Now, we have an episode of the podcast coming out next week. I backlogged some episodes, and it's with Nicole and Jenny of the How Are You Brainwashed podcast. Go check them out. And a musing comes up there about the idea, the thought that maybe PK not only allegedly, if this video ever gets out into the world, I mean, I know it's literally being uploaded. We're live and it's going to get uploaded immediately, unedited, so it will be, but allegedly, a thought that what if PK was one of the robbers? What if he put on a little ski mask and came in and was like, "Hey, babe, you gotta give me your phone." So we explore that theory on next week's podcast. So definitely go check that out. But yeah, it's just like, why shame her about money when you got your money from a fucked up relationship, when she's in a fucked up relationship? It's just like, I don't think that. And Sutton is one of those people that stands in the shower and just says the line reading over and over again, right? She's just like, I know my wallet's bigger than yours. I know my wallet's bigger than yours. I know my wallet is bigger than yours. Like, she's just running through those different line readings, if you will. And then she brought it because you can tell because she's so nervous. When she got to that caviar party, trembling, she was like, "Can I have a water?" Like, she was shaking. Also, y'all, I went to a Watch It Happens live taping, I think probably in 2021, maybe, and Sutton was the guest. I cannot describe how little this woman is. So she appears so big. I mean, she's obviously, we know she's small, like by watching her on camera, but she is larger than life on camera. When you see her in person, she looks like an iPhone with little popsicle sticks. It's crazy. She's so little. So the idea of this little woman being like, "You know my wallet's bigger than yours." It's just it does tickle me. I don't like her, but I love her, if that makes any sense. Um oh, wait, sorry. Mary is in the comments. She gets 300,000 after taxes a month. Oh my God, Mary. Thank you for saying that. I did not know that. That is shocking. A shocking amount of money a year. That is what? Quick math. $4.8 million a year, I believe. No. Sorry, $3.6 million a year. That is an insane amount of money. So yeah, she's rolling in it. But this white on white crime, back to white on white crime, just like PK being a robber to Dorit white on white crime. I'm here for it. I think it's funny. It's entertaining. Also, I didn't catch what Faye Resnick said at the table that had everyone laughing, but I do love to see Faye Resnick in the mix. It's really crazy to me that she never was a wife. She was a friend of on season 4. I don't like an official friend of because I believe she had a photo. Um, and then she guests obviously on a lot of the seasons, but it's like Kyle needs a friend in the mix there, and I wish that she was that. So that's just kind of my thoughts. But I thought this was a great episode of the season. The season for me has been kind of like a B minus, but it's entertaining. So I'm just happy. I'm just happy we're out of Augusta. I couldn't do any more Reba. Reba. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that happened in the episode. The most of the episode was just the caviar thing. I've never had caviar. I've had like roe at like a sushi place, but I've never had. Actually, that's wrong. I did do omakase once for my birthday for my family, and I had some caviar there. But I would like that caviar baked potato looks amazing. I'm down for it. If anyone wants to support that for me. Um, let's move on to some more stuff. So let's talk a little. You know what? So we have an episode of the podcast coming out tomorrow where I talk about Summer House, but I did not watch the most recent episode of Summer House when we recorded it, and I thought this last episode was really interesting. I like this dynamic um between Paige and Kyle where they're fighting. I love when they fight. God, I love when they fight. And then, Danielle is back for a weekend, which was weird for me because I thought Danielle was like officially out, done. But she was like in the whole episode. I I feel like they just call on her when they're like, "Hey, babe, we got nothing. We need you." Like the producers, like, "We don't have anything going in this season so far. We need you back." So I feel like she's just gonna come back full time next year again. Like she's done this before, like back and forth, back and forth. But we have Paige and Kyle at odds over Craig, and Kyle was a bit of a soothsayer though with the Craig situation because he said on Watch Heaven's Live that we know that Craig is a liar, and so who's surprised that he's been lying about things, or whatever. And Paige is obviously mad about that, but in hindsight, he was right. Oh, oh. The Jesse and Lexi of it all will wrap up soon. That relationship, the way she is so crazy trying to meet his I mean, sorry, have him meet her family. That was wild. They, this is episode 3 of the show, so we've had 3 weeks to sit with it. If you do the math on it, they met like less than 7 days before he met her family. Like the first episode was the first night of the house. The second episode was the rest of that weekend, and then we're on episode 3. Like it's been it's been like a week. Maybe if my timeline is wrong, maybe it's been 10 days. It hasn't been 2 weeks. I promise you. So that is absolutely crazy that that he has met her family, and he looks ready to get the fuck out already. There's a part of me that loves Jesse. He's a fuck boy, but he could get it. He could get it. Let's talk some White Lotus. Yes. So once again, White Lotus to me is a Bravo adjacent show. It is reality TV. It is why we watch these shows. And White this season is getting some flack online because it's I think people are missing Jennifer Coolidge. People are saying it's boring. I don't find it boring at all. Like I'm riveted by these storylines. I think there's so much like undercover tension that's slowly going to start to unfold between these people, these families. I like that we're getting a little bit of a mix back to the old storyline of Jennifer Coolidge with Greg and their marriage. Like, I don't know. I think there's a lot doing. Also, I formative culture for me was Christopher Guest. If you don't know who Christopher Guest is a writer, director, actor who wrote and directed wrote loosely because they're pretty much improv, but like created the movies Best in Show, Mighty Wind, Waiting for Guffman, Spinal Tap. I'm missing one. Oh, For Your Consideration. Yeah. So he's genius. And part of his like acting troupe, Jennifer Coolidge and Parker Posey are in that troupe. Also, part of it is Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy. The list does go on. Jane Lynch. So pretty much everyone you love is a part of the mix. And so far, Mike White is including, we had Jennifer Coolidge. Now we have Parker Posey. Wait, did I say Parker Posey before? Parker Posey is a part of that world. I think I want him to dip more into that pool of people. I think a Catherine O'Hara appearance would be fantastic on season 4. I think a I think Eugene Levy would be great on a season. I think that Christopher Guest himself would be amazing. Christopher Guest, I think, is Christopher Guest married to Jamie Lee Curtis? I think he is. Wait, let me look this up real quick. Regardless, what I was gonna say is this, like, White Lotus feels like a more serious Christopher Guest. Um, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, Christopher Guest, Jamie Lee Curtis. Look at that. I was right. No, White Lotus feels like a more serious version of a Christopher Guest movie, which is what I love because it's just like big characters, like living out loud. So we have the Ratliff family. Ratliff family is the Parker Posey family. She's married to Daddy Draco, from Harry Potter, with the bust down 613. That is a 613. Okay, Daddy Malfoy, he wears that 613 and whips it around Miss Hogwarts. It's so funny to me when J.K. Rowling is so awful when she created some of the gayest characters. she had she had Mr. Draco walking around those halls in a little kitten heel and a 613 wig, acting like he was the king of the castle, or the queen of the castle, and yet she is a monster. So, anyways, so we have the Ratliff family, and in the Ratliff family, we have this trio of kids, which I don't know everyone's names, but Patrick Schwarzenegger is like the oldest kid, and there's kind of this incest storyline that's starting to unfold, where the youngest kid is kind of infatuated by the oldest brother, and then the oldest brother makes comments about the middle daughter being hot and being a virgin. It's really cringy. I this Parker Posey, I love. The rest of them, though, I'm not. That's not my favorite storyline of the mix. Then we have my favorite storyline. My favorite gaggle is the um, Carrie Coon, Michelle Monaghan, and Leslie Bibb trio of friends, where Michelle Monaghan is a they don't say she's washed up, but I think it's alluded to that she's like was maybe a B-list celeb. Now she's like a D-list celeb, but like did well for herself. And then Leslie Bibb is like married rich, and Carrie Coon, I think, has some company or something. She has like money she made on her own. And Carrie Coon is like the odd one out in this threesome. And I am obsessed with their dynamic. Essentially, they're like, we're the best friends in the whole world. Oh my God. And then every time one leaves, the other two are like, I are you worried about her, darling? I am so worried about her. What do you think about her relationship? Do you think she's annoying? Do you think she's lonely? Do you think she's an alcoholic? Do you think she's not getting fucked? Like, it's so good. I love that. And I love Carrie Coon. Carrie Coon is so talented. Um, if you haven't seen, she's wonderful in The Leftovers. She's also great in. I have not watched what's the show with Cynthia Nixon and them. It's on HBO. I can't remember, but kind of a niche role that she was in. She played the like head of this cult in The Killing, I believe is what the series is called, which is that what it's called? With Jessica Biel, where Jessica Biel was like the first season character, and then they serialized it, so every season was like a different murder. The second season of it was with Carrie Coon as like the head of this cult. Fantastic. But her crying with like that probably like $100 glass of Sancerre in her hand. It's just that white on white crime. Okay, if I could rename the title of this live in real time, that's what I would name it. White on white crime. White on white live. We can't do that. That's what they every week they're called white on white live. Me talking to other whites. I'm kidding, everyone. Um, no, but I these ladies, God, they're great. I just love them. And then we also have um the the little British girl with the big buck teeth. I think her name is Chelsea, married to Walter Boggins, whatever his name is. Now, their relationship is really interesting. I want to know what's going to happen with him because he's got some secrets. What are they about? Is he connected to Greg, Jennifer Coolidge's man? I don't know. I'm not sure where to land with them, but I'm loving their dynamic. Their chemistry is so amazing. I think she is fantastic. I don't have her name pulled up, but she was on Sex Education. So funny. In this most recent episode, she is a part of a robbery. She's like not involved in the robbery. She's like a victim of the robbery. And there's some rumors that the person who robbed the jewelry shop she was in at the hotel was actually Walter Goggins in like a ski mask. So that's a rumor, just like a thought on online. It could be completely wrong. It's not like a Reddit thread. It's just it's just people are wondering, hypothesizing how this robbery is connected to everything, and I kind of think that could be the case. So, um, yeah, there's something sus going on now. The star, the absolute star to me is the owner of the hotel. Her name is Shritala. She is a Taiwan, I believe she's a Taiwanese actress, and she had a musical number in this most recent episode. She just commands the stage. I'm taken with her beauty, and she had an amazing interview. The whole cast has been doing press about the show, and they were asking about like her relationship with the cast, like because she was not from America and like not from, and some of them are British, but like but you know what I mean. Like she's not from like the same industry necessarily that the rest of the cast was. They're not in the same kind of acting industry. And she was like, "What was it like? And do you still talk? Who do you still keep in touch with from the cast? Like, who are you close with?" And Shrutala goes, "Oh, I don't talk to anyone." It just really made me laugh. She's like, "Oh no, I don't talk to them." She's like, I went and did a job, and then I went home. Okay. Um. So really, truly, I am loving the season. And Thailand, can we talk about Thailand? Oh my God, it's stunning. I want to go to Thailand. I was looking up flights to Thailand while I was watching the first episode. They are about $4,000, so I won't be going. But I would like to if someone wants to sponsor my trip, please do. Now, I want to get to some questions. If you have a question, put it in the chat. Also, I am opening up Instagram. People are sharing some things over here. And I would love to hear what everyone has to say. Also, thank you guys for being here. I'm really excited about the YouTube journey. I was trying to find, I was saying this on the last episode that I wanted to find a new space because I just am feeling a little bit, I'm feeling a little tired of the Instagram space. It's toxic. I'm positive there's toxicity on YouTube, but starting fresh with a new place feels and feels nice. Feels like a restart. So I'm excited. But a question that we have here from Addie was, can we start calling Dorit Poor Reet? Because Sutton, of course, calls her Poor Reet in her confessional. I I love it. I did. I don't know what writer's room put that together for Sutton, but I do have to tip my hat. I did laugh. I did laugh. Her delivery was good too. That's the thing about Sutton is like when she nails the line, it's really funny. But she nails 1 in 5 lines. That was the one line she nailed this episode. Um, we got some other questions here that I do not understand what they mean. Um, but please continue to send more in the chat. Send some over on Instagram. Um, wait, wait 1 second. On the subway when you start. Oh, is Jacqueline okay? Okay. I got it. Like she wants to be those. Is Jacqueline okay with this? Is from problematic pod Eugene. This is in regards to White Lotus. Is Jacqueline okay with the two other blondes whispering behind her back like she wants them to? So she just heads to bed with the Shritala book. Oh, okay. So Michelle Monaghan, there's the scene at the end of this last episode where Michelle Monaghan goes to bed, um, and takes the Shritala, gives them her book, her memoir, goes to bed, is holding the book upstairs, and the girls are talking about how they think Michelle Monaghan is not having sex with her current husband or boyfriend, and how they never see each other, even though she continues to say that everything is great in their relationship. Um, and the last scene of the episode is Michelle, or not the last scene of that portion of the show, is Michelle kind of looking down at the camera, kind of looking like it looks like she's listening to what they're saying downstairs. So, do you think Eugene is asking? Do you think Jacqueline is okay with the girls whispering behind her back, like she wants them to do it because like she likes the attention, and so she just heads to bed? I think she heard it and was hurt by it. I think she's looking to like, I feel like she could be looking to like expose why they're bad friends to her. Like how she brought them here to just be like, I gotcha, you'll suck. Or maybe there's like is there an ulterior motive to her trip there? Because she kind of, it sounds like she organized this trip. So I don't know. The dynamic is very, it feels like an old play where where everything is textured. Like it's a Tennessee Williams play, right? Where like all the dialogue is incredibly layered. Like when you say, go get me a glass of water, what it means is like, I fucked your husband. It's like everything is incredibly complex. So I don't know, Eugene. That's a good thought though. I do think there's more going on than meets the eye. Um, well, this kind of brings us to the end of our first live here on YouTube. So once again, please go subscribe to the podcast. It is Dumpster Dive Pod on Instagram. Also, you can follow me at the Tom Hamlet. I mostly just post on my personal now. The podcast Dumpster Dive, we release episodes. Now we're doing like once and or twice a week, depending on the live schedule mixed with regular episodes. We have a new episode of the podcast coming out tomorrow. These lives are going to come out on Sundays. There is a lot going on. So please get engaged with the Tom Hamlet experience. I love engaging with y'all. So show up. Come say hi here on YouTube. You can follow the YouTube channel at Dumpster Dive Pod. That is the youtube.com/Dumpster Dive Pod. That's what I mean. Um, and yeah, more videos here on the YouTube, lives once a week. Next week, I will be live on Friday at 7 o'clock. And that's it. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I'm going to play us out with our outro song while I stand here and dance for you. Okay. Bye, guys.